As we continue Inflation Week, let's take a look at what inflation is doing to real prices. Earlier this week, I mentioned that inflation is up 6.2%, and that's a lot. But let's take a look at what it's doing to real world prices. In 1 year, October to October, gas is up 50%. Hotels, 25.5%. Used cars, 28%. And rental cars, 42+%. That means that all the traveling that you want to do is going to cost more in gas, in hotels, in car expense. And once you get there, maybe you are visiting with family and want to enjoy a steak dinner. Well, steak is up 24%. Can't afford a steak? Let's just get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Peanut butter up 11%. Okay, we can't afford any of that stuff. Let's just have breakfast. Eggs and bacon. Eggs are up 12%. Bacon is up 12%. And next week, America's families get together to celebrate. As this Farm Bureau survey shows, Thanksgiving dinner cost is up 14%. We've been spoiled by low inflation for quite a while. So inflation going up is troubling. No one wants to go back to the double-digit inflation numbers of the 1970s. If it goes to double digits, it could turn into what we call hyperinflation. Geez, that's a scary word, and strikes terror into the hearts of those who have lived through the 1970s. Of course, everyone is worried about inflation, but no one more so than America's seniors, who've been working and preparing for their after-work years. Even a little inflation can be devastating to savings. And now we're looking at the possibility of hyperinflation. America's seniors who are retired don't want to go back to work. They can't earn new money at the new purchasing rate. They have to live off what they've already earned, and inflation is destroying that. The Fed Chairman Jerome Powell wants you to believe that inflation is transitory, and he keeps pushing this idea, but there is so much evidence to the contrary. How do you get through this as a regular citizen, either planning for retirement or trying to get through your retirement in one piece? There are really two things that have led me to believe that inflation is not transitory and that it is time to take action. First, government spending. The world is changing, and we can't get around that fact. It is happening. Even the respected Deutsche Bank put out a report saying that government's greater control over the economy through social engineering could be the key to triggering chronic inflation. Here's what they said in the report. U.S. macro policy, and indeed the very role of government in the economy, is undergoing its biggest shift in direction in 40 years. In turn, we are concerned that it will bring about uncomfortable levels of inflation. The other thing that I think could trigger hyperinflation is the efforts of the Fed to manipulate the economy, famously called quantitative easing. The Fed's own numbers show an almost vertical uptick in the money supply since March 2020. Here's how two respected economists put it. Since March 2020, the M2 money supply has been growing at an average annualized rate of 23.9%, the fastest since World War II. This all, of course, amounts to what you might call reckless handling of the economy. Deutsche Bank's report contains some pretty troubling comments. I wish I could read it all to you. Here are just a few snippets. We worry that the painful lessons of an inflationary past are being ignored by central bankers. Neglecting inflation leaves global economies sitting on a time bomb. Recent stimulus has been extraordinary, and economic forecasting, which is difficult at the best of times, is becoming harder by the day. Okay, where does this leave us? We have never seen this type of money printing or these economic conditions before. It makes it, as Deutsche Bank points out, impossible to forecast. What is certain is you cannot simply ignore these conditions. To be best prepared, make sure you download our instant guide so that you can learn the choices that you can make.